again.
There's a lot of guys who tried to work out through COVID while they had it, and they got fucked up. That's Khamzat.
Yeah.
Khamzat got fucked up because he's too tough. Too tough for his own good. And while he was sick as a dog, that motherfucker was still going to the gym and doing rounds in the bag and working out like a beast, and then he was throwing up blood.
Yeah, I was hearing about that.
Yeah.
I was hearing that. Like, yeah, he's throwing up blood. I was like, what?
Yeah, he was coughing up. Like, his whole toilet bowl was filled with blood. And the question with that is, like, what has that done to his lungs? Like, does he have scarring on his lungs? Are his lungs at full capacity? Because he was hospitalized more than once with COVID. Like, it was a big deal because he's such a knucklehead in that regard. Like, he's so tough that he worked himself to the bone while he was sick with COVID and then got hospitalized, I think twice.
Wow.
Yeah. And then Cody Garbrandt did the same thing. Cody Garbrandt had COVID, kept working out, kept training, never got himself tested. Didn't find out he had COVID the whole time until he went to Mike Tyson's. Mike Tyson had him on a podcast, and it was during the pandemic, so they tested him. They go, hey, man, you got COVID. And he's like, oh, that's what's been going on. He had COVID for fucking weeks.
Oh, wow, really?
Working out. Still working out. Just too tough. Too tough for his own good. So for a long time, never got over COVID because he kept training.
That's crazy.
Crazy.
But, I mean, for me, like I said, who knows if it wasn't my fight week, if I would have just still continued on, or if I ever got even tested.
Right.
Like, I would have figured it was like a regular, normal cold.
Well,
got over the chills.
When DC was training for Stipe, he got COVID in camp.
Yeah.
And still fought and won. I mean, he worked through it. Worked through COVID.
You just got to adjust.
Yeah, he adjusted, and he just, DC rather is very smart, so he didn't train too hard.
Yeah.
He just knew what his body was telling him and then got over it and kept training. So he had like a few slow days where it wasn't pushing it very hard. But apparently Khamzat is just, fuck, I kill everybody. I kill everybody. So he's just getting in the gym, coughing up a storm while he's sick as fuck. You know, it was real bad for a lot of people that didn't take time off. You know, didn't take breaks. Because if you think you're tough, the problem with being tough is you are breaking down your immune system every time you work out hard. So if you're sick already, so immune system's compromised, and then you're breaking your body down because you're tough, because you're working out, now the COVID's really getting into your body. I mean, that can happen with the flu. That can happen with everything.
Yeah, and that was the hard part, too, is because, you're at a gym and you're wondering, if you have a fight, you're like, hey, make sure you don't come to the gym if you have COVID. Make sure if you have any type of symptoms, and you didn't know if to trust anybody, and like you catch COVID and it's my fight week, and I'm like, look at who to blame. I'm like, how did I did this? How did I get COVID? I didn't do nothing else. I didn't go nowhere. I just went to the gym and back home.
Sometimes people have it and they don't even know they have it.
Yeah.
My real estate lady, she had it, and she didn't find out until she was going to a wedding. So she had to get tested because she was going like the Bahamas or some shit, and they tested her. And she's like, I have COVID? And they go, you got COVID. I'm like, I don't believe this. Let me get tested again. So she got tested again. Turns out she has COVID.